Boy, the stuff I go through for them two goofy broads in that ward. I cannot believe this. Send me down in this stupid basement, find videotapes. I'm supposed to be a guard. I've used everything, can't find nothing. Just sick of it. This job just drives me nuts. Women, crazy. Hey, I wondered where that was. I better take that with me. No, I'll use this one. Oh, man! God. Word. File here. Jeez. Maybe I'm gonna find a better job. Gotta find something that's really good. Really good. Hey, here's something. Wow. This will really rock their socks off. There, we'll use this one. Cool. They want a video? I'll give them a video. Huh. They're really gonna like this one. Brought a little bit of Tiny Tim. Live from Cell Block C.
Living easy, living free, season ticket on a one-way
Hi, I'm Les.
And I'm Mo.
And we review the movies. And tonight we have a very special guest star, the one, the only, Mr. Tiny Tim.
Yes. Yeah. So, Tiny, how was your ride up here?
Oh, thank you for a lovely applause. Miss Mo, Mr. Les, is it?
Right.
Yes. Well, I can't complain. Mr. Scott was a marvelous driver, and he did a fantastic job driving my manager, Mr. Plim, and Mr. DeBonis here. And it was a very pleasant ride, except for a few accidents on the road.
And you came up from the Savory.
Right.
Is that right?
A marvelous hotel, which I heard President Reagan stayed there at one time.
Uh-huh.
It's a beautiful place. I didn't know it was 80 years old.
Yeah.
Someone told me that he was dancing in Des Moines back in the 40s and he stayed there.
Oh, wow. When he was acting back in the 40s.
This is Gilbert Miller who told me, another dancer who stayed there. But it has powerful showers, and it has, and it's a very nice place.
That's good. Well, we'd like to thank the SG Limo Company for providing transportation for Tiny and his managers up from Des Moines. And Tiny, this is a movie review, and you are a movie buff.
You know, Mr. Lester, Miss Mo?
Right.
The real buffs, the real trivia movie people are the fans who really keep these clippings. I can only tell you, you can stump me on any question. I can only tell you what I've lived with the movies. I can only tell you what I've seen being in the theaters, going back to the early 30s when Shirley Temple was a star in 1935 in Poor Little Rich Girl, starring a young singer at the time who got his break being in the movies Tony Martin.
Live from Cell Block C.
Yeah.
What's your question? Speaker? Well,
Anyway.
I'm sorry, Tiny.
That's right. But I've lived these movies. I've seen them. I've been in the theaters. I've escaped to my own world. In those, so many others have, especially in the 30s with Jean Arthur and so many great stars.
Live from Cell Block C. Go ahead.
Hi, this is Carla from Philadelphia. Is the Tim Man there?
Right here.
Hi, Tiny Tim.
Who's this?
My name's Carla.
Is Carla from where?
Philadelphia.
Not Pennsylvania.
Got it.
Oh my goodness, you got the show out there too?
No,
Oh.
not yet.
I guess I'm not watching the show, unfortunately, but I couldn't pass up the chance to talk to you.
Well, it's nice talking to you. Miss Carla, is it?
Carla, listen, Tiny Tim, I tried to rent that Rudy Vallee movie that you really like,
Yes.
and I couldn't find it anyplace. Is it not on tape?
Yes, I can just show it up for a minute here before the glitter, Mr. Joe says. But this is the movie called The Vagabond Lover, his greatest movie, in my opinion, which was done in 1930. Now, this movie I bought from a place called Video Yesteryear. I don't get anything for the plugs here. And they were located in Connecticut. I bought this on beta and on VHS. This is Rudy Vallee when he was the Elvis Presley of his day, the Frank Sinatra of his day, in early radio back in 1928 to 1931. This 1930 movie, The Vagabond Lover, shows him in his height when the whole recording world, the women, he was the Valentino of song, were going crazy over him. And when before he died, I made him a promise in '86 that I would vie for a street in Hollywood called Rudy Vallee.
Wow. Gee, I'll keep looking for it then.
It's called The Vagabond Lover. Look up in your phone book for a company called Video Yesteryear in Connecticut.
Okay, I will. Listen, would you tell that tall, red-headed jailbird you're hanging out with hi for me?
Okay, hi.
Which one is that?
The one with the mouth.
The one with the mouth? That must be you, Mo. Listen, caller, thanks a lot. Enjoyed your call. Have a good night.
Well, that was...
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
They're calling from Philadelphia.
Yeah,
So, Tiny, we have some clips here of some old movies. I mean, some real old classics.
Yeah, we're going to buff some movies.
Our first clip, which we'll get to in a minute, is from Four Feathers. Live from Cell Block C. Hit it.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, Tiny Tim, man, you're a real god. I've admired you for a long time, and I just would not know.
Oh, thanks a lot. It must be going well.
You got
Nice
cut
to
off,
know.
but call back.
Yeah, thanks, caller.
Yeah.
Nice call.
Yeah.
But our first clip, hopefully coming up in just a few seconds here, is from The Four Feathers, and that was produced by Alexander Korda, directed by Zoltan Korda, set designed by Vincent Korda.
Korda brothers.
The Korda brothers, right. They just evidently all got together and put a movie together. It has a wonderful score by Miklos Rosa, who did a lot of scores for big Hollywood movies. His music is beautiful, and the actors were C. Aubrey Smith and June Dupre. Could you tell us a little bit about The Four Feathers, Tiny?
Yes, well, I remember. Thanks for telling me who the actor was. C. Aubrey Smith. C. Aubrey Smith was a great old timer, even in that movie. I think he lived almost to 100.
Yeah,
at
he's
that
been
time,
in a
I think
lot
the
of
movie was
things.
about 37, 38. I can't remember. I saw this in the movie house. It was a great adventure. It taught me a lesson in life that even if you're a coward, you can still try to make it great for yourself. And this is what this picture tells. It has to be seen from the beginning with no interruptions.
Yeah. I sat up last night and watched it. I couldn't stop watching it. Before I knew it, it was over. Any of you have a chance to see it, get it. It's really good. Oh, that gave me a headache.
Boy, I'm telling you, that was some hot clip from Four Feathers, wasn't it? Tiny, we have another caller on the phone. Caller, go ahead.
Hi, Tiny.
Hi, Ben. What's your name?
This is Jay.
Mr. J, thanks.
Nice talking to you.
My pleasure.
I'm a big fan of yours, and so is my friend. I'd like to appreciate if you could say hi to my friends for me.
What's his name?
Bogey.
What's his name?
Bogey.
Bogey.
Mr. Bogey? Yes.
Yeah, we're big fans of yours. I've seen you in the news in Des Moines.
Oh, well, they've been very nice to me so far here.
That's great. Just wanted to call and say hi. You're a great man.
I don't know about that, but praise the Lord. Thank you very much. But while we're talking, I want to bring something out, if I may.
Sure, great.
This is an old sheet music from 1918.
Oh, wow.
Now this song here, "Smile and Show Your Dimple," I have a reason for doing this. If I could just play a snip of this.
You bet.
This here was written by Irving Berlin during the war, World War I, and apparently you'll see why I'm doing this. Oh, thanks, Ms. Moore, thanks. Smile and show your dimple. You'll find it very simple. You can think of something comical in a very little while. Chase away the wrinkle. Sprinkle just a twinkle. Light your face up. Just brace up and smile.
That's great.
Thank you. If you remember, this sounds like Easter Parade.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
This was changed to Easter Parade years later by the same Irving Berlin. This was written during World War I to cheer up, you know, the boys while they were away with their girlfriends. You know, then he stole from his own song and made a bigger hit out of Easter Parade.
Wow.
But this is the way it sounded before Easter Parade.
Aha.
That was great, Tiny, and that's an old,
Yeah, thanks for sharing that
my
with us.
pleasure.
piece of sheet music there.
Well, let's go back to 1918 at this point.
And it's still in good condition. Did you notice the clip we had on of Four Feathers?
Yes,
Tiny,
I sure did.
that scene was, I think, where the guy was trying to disguise himself and
They
he was going
branded
to,
him on the forehead so he'd fit in with all
The-
the other
the-
guys.
the natives?
Yeah.
live from Cell Block C. Go ahead, caller. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello, caller. Oh, well, that's not what we want to hear. But do you have anything else to add about that movie, Tiny?
Yes, well, that was just a part. You know, these are the type of movies that have to definitely be seen from the beginning. This scene here just goes to show a snip of how great this movie was. You know, about a fellow who wanted to prove that he was not a coward.
And it was in color too, and I think it was in 39.
39,
wasn't it? Didn't that come out? Live from Cell Block C, caller. Go ahead.
Hi, what is this show?
What is this show?
This is live from Cell Block C.
It's live from Cell Block C.
How may we help yous?
Do you have a question?
No, I was just wondering what this show is all about.
What this show is all about? This show is all about a movie review, and we have Mr. Tiny Tim on the show
I've been.
to help us review the movies. Do you have a question about the movies? Do you have a favorite movie?
No, I haven't seen the movies lately.
You haven't seen the movies lately. Well, you should go. You should go see the movies, and you should rent old classic videos.
Okay, I'll do that.
And look at those. Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I was just wondering, I don't know if any of your listeners know this, when they go out to buy a video, are they getting the complete movie or are they getting a condensed
edited version.
I mean, I'd like to know, because if they're getting a condensed version and thinking they're buying a complete movie, then that's an entirely ripped off situation.
That's
I mean,
right.
I'm assuming I would never even have a video machine if I knew that they were getting condensed versions.
Oh, yeah.
Live from Cell Block C, caller, go ahead.
Hi. Hi, you've reached the Ames Public Access Television Studio.
Well,
We
thank
know
you,
that.
Ames Public Access Television Channel 32.
Yeah,
I guess the
whatever.
answering machine got that one. Sorry, caller. Call again. But, you know, I'd never thought of that,
Wow.
Tiny. I just assume when you rent a video, it's the
Or buy a video. I mean, because I don't have a video machine, but I had it one time, and I always like to buy like
live from Cell Block
nothing
C,
used.
caller.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
Hi, I was just listening to what Tiny Tim was saying about the rental movies not having everything that the regular movie does. And
Right.
I was wondering if he could give me some examples of that.
No, I was asking if anyone out there, if any of your listeners know that when they go out to buy a movie, because I rather buy it than rent it. I like it brand new. If you're paying $19.95 or $29.95, are you getting the complete movie as shown on the screen or a condensed version? Does the packaging say this is a complete movie or a condensed version, or say nothing on it? So I'd just like to know whether the buyers are buying the real thing completely, halfway, or what.
You know, I've never thought of that. Do you know, caller? Do you have any information about that?
No, I have no idea.
But that's something.
Don't they have to tell you, though, if it's condensed or something?
Well, with this world today, not until you prod them. That's why I'm asking the question.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for your call, caller. Do you have a question about any other movies for Tiny Tim, like any old classics?
Yeah, I guess, does Tiny Tim like any of the old Charlie Chaplin movies?
Well, believe it or not, I haven't seen that many of them, but he was definitely, as we all know, a great artist of his day.
Sure was.
He definitely he did to the silent screen with Valentino. let's say Clark Gable and James Cagney, Spencer Tracy, and Betty Grable magnified the sounds, the sound screen. Charlie Chaplin put the silent screen on the map with his style, with his different type of movements in 1914, with his complete aura of great talent for his day.
Right.
I really don't think, unless you get a complete theater with a silent piano working on it and a complete movie house of its day, we can really grasp the feeling or the aura of those times. Because in those times, they had no jet planes. Telephones were coming in. The horse and buggy was gone. The cars were moving in. I mean, the unions just came into being after the fire down in the garment center. So the turmoil of life, there was no air conditioners. When they went to the movies and heard a piano player, they were crowded in among friends and whatever.
And they could escape.
Sure. So to review these things, you have to really go to a movie and get into the mood, because it was the thing of its day.
And also, Charlie not only starred in the movies, didn't he also direct them, write them, compose the music, and produce them, and probably even edit it, himself? I mean, it was like a one-man show.
Excuse me, and he also wrote this song, "Smile though your heart is breaking, smile."
I didn't know he wrote that.
I'm almost sure he wrote that. I may be wrong. I'm almost sure he wrote that, or both. He wrote the theme from Limelight.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's a really
one of the
good
two
one,
or
too.
both he wrote.
Thank you, caller. Thanks for your call.
You're welcome.
Well, Tiny, we're going to bring up another clip now. Svengali.
Yeah. It's a
And-
Warner Brothers production made in 1931. John Barrymore and Marion Marsh starred in it.
Live from Cell Block C, caller, go ahead.
Hello.
Hello. Goodbye. But this movie, when I watched it, and I must apologize for this clip because this tape is so old, the movie is so old that there's a lot of static on the audio. There's kind of a hum, so we're
So
gonna
come along if you want.
Yeah, so hum along if you want, but we're gonna have to kind of ask your forgiveness for the audio on this. It's just a really short clip, but from Cell Block C, caller, go ahead. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, they're gone. Goodbye. But when I watched Svengali, Tiny, I got the impression that John Barrymore, who plays Svengali, fell in love with Marion Marsh and hypnotized her and made her feel that he was the only one that she could love. Live from Cell Block C. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, you've reached the Ames Public Access.
Well, we don't want to hear that.
Anyway.
That was a picture, in my opinion, of so predominant in the history of the world, where one loves the other and the other only likes, perhaps, the other one. That is so predominant in romance. Right here, I can tell you for the first time anywhere that I've been in love with this girl. That's why I relate this picture, and I'm not putting it on. I relate this picture of Svengali, his great acting. I'm in love with this girl, Miss Stephanie, when I met her in Dallas back in 1988. She was 19 years old. Well, I can tell you after this.
Live from Cell Block C, caller. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is a little off the subject, but I kind of wanted to ask Tiny Tim, what exactly came about? How did he ever come about to getting married on the Carson show?
Well, believe it or not, Mr. Carson asked on September 18th or 17th in 1969. I was pretty hot then, and he asked, instead of doing it in Miss Vicky's house, we'll take care of everything. We'll take care of the dress, the wedding gown. I said, gee, I'd look good in front of her mother. So MEC was taking care of everything. I said, sure, why not do it? But marriage was always a sacred thing to me. I never gave a divorce. The state of Jersey did. I couldn't come up to contest it. But it was once in a moment lifetime thrill. And she was very beautiful at 17.
Yes, she was. Yes, she was. And you have a daughter
Miss
by
Tulip.
Miss Vicky, Miss
She's-
Tulip.
She's just got married. She's out in Willingboro,
Oh,
New Jersey.
really? Oh,
That's
wow.
nice.
That's great. So may I ask how old Miss Tulip
Yeah,
is
she's about
now?
22.
22.
About.
Just a young thing.
Oh.
Did that answer your question, caller?
Yes, it did. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks
You're
for the
welcome.
call.
But I'm sorry. Do we have time to say
Oh,
this?
Oh,
Sure.
sure.
Yeah.
You bet.
So going back to Svengali, I was in love with this. I still am in love with Miss Stephanie. I never kissed her. She doesn't love me. Forget to like it. You forget that. But I did say if I ever get to heaven, she's 25 now. If I ever get to heaven, he will make me another Stephanie Bond And this time put the spirit in her to love me like he makes a million roses, a million tulips. And so she doesn't have to write me, doesn't have to call me. My wife knows about her. She knows what I'm telling you right here. But the thing, if I ever get, she can have Tom Selleck. But if I ever get married, if I get to heaven, he can make me another Stephanie Bond, and I want to have on my gravestone what Svengali had, although say, "Oh Lord, grant me in death the love you denied me in life, Miss Stephanie Bond."
She must be live from Cell Block C. Go ahead, caller.
Oh, sorry.
Hi, you gals. You're just doing a great job.
Thank you.
Sure
Hi,
are.
Tiny Tim.
Hi, they sure are doing a great job.
And so is Tiny.
I remember you from, may I say, a way back?
Oh, please, go right ahead. As long as you can say it.
Hey, I have a question about your ukulele.
Yes.
How long have you played it?
Well-
Is this something you picked up as a child?
A little past the child, but I must say that Ukulele Ike in 1923 was the most popular ukulele player in this century.
Okay.
And ukuleles were going at a swift speed at that time when he played it. He was the one who contributed to making "Singing in the Rain" a hit song in '29. He was also the voice of Pinocchio, of Jiminy Cricket, in Pinocchio, later on in his years. But Arthur Godfrey, may he rest in peace, Mr. Edwards, Cliff Edwards, ukulele Ike, Arthur Godfrey in 1952 had a great influence on the ukulele here. He was the second most popular ukulele player in this country in this century.
I remember that.
Oh, yeah, well, he was very popular until the blunder of firing Julius LaRosa on the air in 1954, which, in my opinion, killed his career. But I remember Mr. Godfrey from radio in 1940 and on television in the 50s. And this really helped me. I bought a book that he wrote with Don Ball called "You Two Can Play the Ukulele." Thank God Christ, I just picked it up. It was really a help in going to auditions and not having the piano player play.
Right.
So you've taught
Right.
yourself then?
Right.
Ah.
And you take it with you everywhere.
Everywhere.
Hey, Tiny Tim.
Yes.
My husband said to tell you he thinks you've got a great tie on.
Oh,
He does. He
Gee,
does, caller.
I tell you, I wish
like
I
it
knew.
too.
Thank you. I wish I were. Please thank you. I wish I knew where I bought this, but it was in Rochester, Minnesota.
I see.
And I think it was last year. The man has great ties. I have to go back and buy some more one day if I can find out who he is.
Yeah. Well, Tiny Tim, we enjoyed visiting with you, and you girls are doing a great job. Keep it up.
Thanks, caller. Thanks for your call.
Bye-bye.
We're going to go to a commercial break, Tiny, and then we're going to come back. We're going to have more calls, and we're going to review more movies, and we're going to listen to Tiny just give us a whole bunch of great information.
So stick around.
I'm
We
having
got
fun,
more.
Tiny.
Yeah.
same here.
Oh, me
Wonderful.
too. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Unbelievable.
Welcome to Mrs. Claus's Corner, where the North Pole natives do their bit for recycling.
Oh, hello, welcome to my little corner of the North Pole. While Santa's busy in his workshop doing his Santa Claus things, I'm busy in my workshop doing my Mrs. Claus things. Well, anyway, today I'm going to make you some scrumptious delectables that'll make you grow up big and strong, you little nugget munching muppet, you. Well, anyway, my good friend Jay Leno sent me this recipe. This very recipe, and which originated in something called a entomology lab in a small hamlet of Ames, Iowa. Well, anyway, first you'll find some roadkill. That's easy. You just go to any highway around here and just carefully scrape up that roadkill. Now, well, this will do. This is old that he gave me. Anyway, you just scrape up that roadkill and place it in a pot of boiling water. Get in there, you little rodent. Anyway, now, once you have him into the pot, you carefully throw in some spice. Yes, very carefully, and any kind of spices will do. And flour, get that flour in there, and some spirits if you wish to make it a little more. Anyway, you stir it in until it is steeping hot, boiling and bubbling. Now, this is to tenderize the meat
and it also separates the fur from the muscle. Therefore, when you're done, you not only have a scrumptious meal, Uncle Ned also has a nifty toupee for Christmas. Yes. Anyway, onward and upward. Anyway, this next recipe is maggot crispies. I wish that I could claim fame for this one, but some little booger beat me to it. Now, for this, we must go to the airport and find some dead birds. Now, not finding any birds, you say? Well, that's okay. No, we'll just settle for that. Now you take the little rodent and you carefully remove all the little maggots from its dead, diseased, decomposing body. Throw it in the pot, yes. Now we must sterilize those little buggers. Woo! Once again, we go to my favorite part, sterilizing them with alcohol. Any alcohol will do. Yes, just add a little more. And we, again, more spices, and more spirits. Now, to make a long story short, you take this, you pop it into the oven, and turn around 3 times, pat your belly, and whistle a Dixie. Anyway, now we just happen to have a maggot crispy here. Now, if we can find some unsuspecting little elf. You, Elvis. I mean elves. Taste this. I said taste it. Oh well, there's plenty more where they come from. Well, anyway, this is Mrs. Claus. Signing off from my little corner of the world.
It's just wonderful having you here.
It's great. You're doing a great job, and we are having lots of fun.
Well, Miss Mo, I said off the air, you're only as good as your interviewers.
And this one's
You've
going
been
great.
great.
We have
You've
another
been
call,
great.
Tiny.
Thank you.
Live from Cell Block C, caller. Go ahead.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a question. I was wondering what Tiny thinks of Omar Sharif, because I come from the same part of the world that Omar Sharif comes from. I'm kind of interested in what you think of him, and if I were to go out and, for instance, rent a movie, what would he recommend?
Okay, now the first question was what?
What do you
Omar
think
Sharif.
about Omar
I
Sharif?
think
you
he's
think of-
wonderful. I think he I'm sorry, what else did he ask?
And if you were to go out and rent a movie with Omar Sharif in it, which one do you suggest?
I don't know if he said with Omar Sharif in it or just in general.
Yeah, he said in it because he's from the same part of the country. You're from, where are you from, caller?
Well, you know, part of the world. I'm from the Middle East.
Oh,
That's
right,
because
sorry.
of the
But
country.
are you asking for a movie by Omar Sharif or any movie on video?
Yeah, on video.
Any movie?
Okay, because I know he did something with Barbara Streisand and Funny Girl. I think he was in that,
Right.
which was a great picture for him as well as Miss Streisand. And I met Mr. Sharif on one of the shows throughout the years, and he was a wonderful gentleman, a man of great class. He's a great class, he is. You don't meet these type of people very often. He magnifies class. As far as the videos, you know, there's so many, but I'm going to recommend something that is coming up here called The Seventh Veil, which starred James Mason, which I saw back in '47, I believe the RKO Coliseum in New York, and I still think that this is James Mason's greatest role ever. And this was a picture that also made him a star. It's called The Seventh Veil. And I don't know how they're going to sell it to you, complete or incomplete, but if you can buy this, I would buy it anyway.
And we have a clip of that, Tiny. Maybe we can roll that clip now of The Seventh Veil with James Mason and Todd and Herbert
And Herbert Lom.
Lom. That was a General Film Distributors movie, and it was produced in London, I think. Caller, thanks for your call.
Thank you.
So nice to go to sleep, that's right. Soon you will be asleep. Soon you will be asleep. There, You are asleep. Nothing can hurt you now because you are asleep. You understand, don't you?
Well, we have a
We're
call,
back.
Tiny,
Yeah.
and then maybe we can talk about the seventh veil. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, I was wondering if I could get Tiny Tim to sing me a Christmas song.
Oh, I know. Come, ye thankful people. Oh, Christmas. Oh, think of Thanksgiving. Oh, come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Come ye, oh, come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord.
Oh, that was great. No, it sounded great. Sounded great. Thanks, caller.
That was wonderful.
It was
Thank you.
wonderful. Thanks for the call. Bye-bye. The seventh veil. That clip was Ann Todd being hypnotized by, was that Herbert Lom as the psychiatrist?
Yeah.
And James Mason plays her father when they go into flashbacks.
But they didn't show him on the screen
No,
here.
no, we didn't
It's
show
unfortunate.
James Mason.
That was the role that made him a star. He was superb, and I've tried in life to emulate that role when
you
it
hold,
comes
caller?
to my relations.
Could you hold, please? I'm sorry, Tiny, go ahead.
I've tried to emulate that James Mason character in life when it comes to certain relationships with wives, whatever.
Okay, caller, go ahead, live from Cell Block C.
All right, this is Ted Nugent from up in Detroit, Michigan. Got a question about who you think's going to win the Iowa State-Iowa basketball game tomorrow.
Well, I tell you, I am not a fan of football. My managers, Mr. Plim and Mr. DeBonis, a real football fan. They can answer you there. But on a gut feeling, who's playing again?
Who's playing again?
State and Iowa basketball.
On a gut feeling, I would think Iowa's going to win.
All righty, thanks a lot.
Well, I lost a fan.
Thanks for your call, caller. But getting back to the seventh veil,
Oh,
James Mason plays Ann Todd's father, and he's a very domineering, manipulative, really mean.
well, she lost her father, and he's taken over.
Please correct me,
That's
Tiny.
all
I'm
right.
sorry.
No, I saw it in 47. But the thing is, it's a shame to tell anyone else what's going on because they have to get this movie and see it from the beginning, The Seventh Veil, because it is superb.
It is. Live from Cell Block C, caller. Go ahead.
Yeah, I noticed you had long hair, and I have long hair too, kind of floppy hair. I was wondering how long you've had long hair like that.
Well, I'm not trying to be falsely modest. I've had this before them all. I mean, you're really talking to the original, going back to 54. I mean, they used to throw me out of all the, Tin Pan Alley show business places. Pictures were taken before the 60s. I was close to Lenny Bruce in the 60s. And, this is a time when rock and roll was really, for the white man at least, in the 54 period of time, the rage of the age. From Alan Freed's to Frankie Lyman's Why the Fools Fall in Love, Chuck Berry, Bo Diddley, and all the rest of them. I've had this long hair.
So you've had long hair since the 50s?
Yeah, but I didn't have this for show business alone. I had it to find myself. You see, part of it was for show business. The other part was to, since I was not good looking, I was trying to get the most of my looks without cutting this nose.
And it's beautiful. I love it. How long is your hair, caller?
At least 34 inches.
34 inches. That's at least 12 dozen feet or something.
Yeah, but I want to state that I wash my hair. This is not an exaggeration. I wash my hair every day. I haven't missed a shower at least 20 minutes since December 20th, 1989.
Wow.
And I wash and, condition my hair every day, put a few lusters on here. And although I may be losing my hair on the right side, remember, I'm past the 50s.
Oh, it looks great,
into
though.
the
It looks
60s.
great.
It does look great.
And they
I
told
love
me,
it.
well, they told me back in 1950. Thank you, Ms. Les. They told me back in 1950, in 48. They said, you're going to lose your hair. Well, I said, rather, if you wash it every day. I said, I'd rather lose it at 30 than be dirty.
Ooh, remember that one.
Yeah.
File that one away for future reference. Thanks, caller.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Well, Tiny, we have another clip from another old movie, and this is one of my favorites, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. I love this show. It's just so patriotic. Live from Cell Block C. Go ahead, caller. Hello. Goodbye. But this show stars Jimmy Stewart, one of my all-time favorites. I love this guy. Jean Arthur and Claude Rains, who is always marvelous in everything he does. It's a Columbia picture, and it was produced and I think directed by Frank Capra,
Right.
who's just the ultimate, producer-director in Hollywood. The guy did It Happened One Night, and It's a Wonderful Life, and what else did Frank Capra
Bunches
do,
more.
Tiny?
It happened one night, won the Academy Award.
Right, it
He
won a
also
lot
did,
of
he did
awards.
that movie.
That clip was great, and that was kind of a setup for the whole show. It showed a senator dying, and the guys talking about they have to get someone in who doesn't know anything about politics, so they pick
Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith, Jimmy Stewart, as
Who
the
promptly goes to
naive
Washington.
young guy.
Also, may I add, the greatest role, in my opinion, James Stewart ever had. I don't think he did anything to top this. This was a superb acting job. That made him a star. And of course, too bad he didn't show Jean Arthur. He didn't have that clip. Because, as I said, she was a great, her voice was so different at the time. And she was a great star herself.
We have a call, Tiny. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, Tiny, this is Darren, and I don't know if this question's been asked yet, but how'd you get the name, Tiny?
Well, I had so many managers. Right now, I'm glad Mr. Plim is managing me with Mr. DeBonis, because Mr. Plim is one of the great managers, the greatest I've had since the 60s. Anyway, but one of my managers in 1960 gave me this name, George King, and it had many other names, Larry Love, Darry Dover, Emmett Swink, Judas K. Foxglove, but this one stuck. And the reason he did it was because when I went to the amateur nights, they looked for a midget. And since I'm 6'1", he wanted to create an optical illusion.
That's a kick. Tiny, may we ask, what is your real name?
Herbert Corey.
Herbert Corey. Well, that's a nice handle. Does anybody ever call you Herbert Corey anymore?
Very few.
Very few. Do you have another question, caller?
Was that you I saw in a Pepsi commercial, by the way?
That's right, Diet Pepsi.
What did you do, Tiny?
1991. Ray Charles, I just did a few bits. I just came into a music office, and I just said a few words, and they put it on.
Yeah,
how
I
fun.
remember seeing that. Yeah.
Well, thanks, caller.
Yep.
Thank
Bye-bye.
Bye.
But anyway, Mr. Smith goes to Washington, and once he gets there, they just kind of set him up.
Yeah, it's more than that. The people have to see this picture from the beginning. Like everything else, it is a superb acting job of a young rookie in Washington, and superbly played by
Who
Mr.
has high
Mr.
morals
Stewart.
and wants to do the right thing. Live from Cell Block C. Go ahead, caller.
Welcome to Iowa, Tiny Tim.
Thank you so much. What's the name?
My name's Rhonda,
Ms. Rhonda, thank you.
and I wanted to know if there was any place that we could see you perform live.
Well, not at this particular moment, but maybe in the future.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Pleasure.
Thanks, caller. Well, Tiny, didn't you just do a stint down at
Yes,
caller?
but that closed could lack of people.
Oh, there was a lack of people?
Well, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
That's true, but Mo and I tunneled out of the
Cell
prison
Block
here, and
C
we
here.
caught the show, and it was
It
great.
was wonderful.
Thank you
Live
so
from
much.
Cell Block C, caller, hit it. Hello. Goodbye. No, but in your show you did a whole combination of songs and you imitated different people. It was great. I really enjoyed
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Well, thanks. Well, see, this was, I did this with the Cold Sweat Orchestra. This is another time when I had to play another role, a country western.
Right.
Which I've
it's a
sung,
country and western
which
bar.
I've sung so much in the past.
Live from Cell Block C, caller, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Nathan, and
That's a great question.
That is a good question,
That
caller.
is- and I think, although I must confess, because of the lack of 78 records, it's hard to hear one song and then have another one come on next week. I always used to listen to the top 10 in the 40s, 50s, 30s, whatever. But now a record comes out, you get another one. But I still think rap, today's music, has a hook. Good today, great yesterday.
Does that answer your question, caller?
Yep.
Do you have another question for Tiny?
No.
Okay. Thanks for your call.
Thanks.
So, Tiny, what are your plans now
Well,
in Des Moines?
the thing right now is to go out to Hollywood. I've got a call next week for a wrestling business talk there, and after that to go to do the Laugh-In reunion. It's just been called for George Schlatter to do the Laugh-In.
Oh, we heard about that, the 25-year Laugh-In reunion with all the original people. Who were the original people on
Well,
that?
when I was there, Dan Rowan, rest in peace, there was Goldie Hawn, Judy Carney, who's still around, Arnie Johnson, Alan Seuss were the ones that I remember, the main ones on that show, and Gary Owens was on there.
And so, are all those people going to be reunited?
I hope they are. I hear they are. I hear Goldie Hawn's going to be there.
Oh, and she's a doll.
I hope Judy Carn's there too.
Now, was Joanne Worley not an
Joanne Worley, I'm sorry.
She was one of the originals.
And Ruth Buzzy, I forgot
And Ruth
that.
Buzzy.
And Joanne
Lily
Waller.
And
Lily
Gibson,
Tomlin?
She came
Lily
afterward.
Tomlin.
She came, that's right, Mr. Gibson was another one.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
Live from Cell Block C, caller, go ahead.
Hi, I'd just like to say hi to Tiny Tim.
Hi.
And I was wondering, one of my favorite all-time movies is Miracle on 34th Street.
Right.
And I just wondered what you think of the old version compared to the newer one that they did.
Well, I haven't seen the newer one. I thought the old one was very nice. We each have our, I thought it was a pleasant picture. I don't know how great it was. We all have our opinions. I thought it was a pleasant movie. I hate when they have remakes because no one can beat Charles Lawton in Mutiny on the Bounty. And to even try is a sham. So I think they ought to leave great classics where they are.
Well, I agree with you totally on that. And then I have one more favor. Could you please sing just a little bit of your Tiptoes Through the Tulips for me?
Well, forgive the raspiness, I'll just give it a try. Oh, tiptoe by the window, that is where I'll be. Come tiptoe through the tulips with me.
Oh, that's great. I love it. Thank you. Thank you, Tiny.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
My pleasure.
Thanks
Just
for
to
your
let you know, my name is Cindy.
Miss Cindy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
thanks for your call, caller.
I was going to ask you, what do you think about all this colorization in these old films?
Believe it or not, I've seen some of them, and I have to say that it's not that bad. It's not that bad. But I still would like to see it kept in its original content. That gives the whole aura, the originality of a time gone by.
That's right.
I don't think they should really mess with that. You know, because of an overabundance of inventions from the 78 to the LP to the 45 to the tape and to the the 8-track and now to the cassette disc. You know, we're phasing out more work and there's a confusion. There's too much in the home. It has to stop somewhere.
That's right. Yeah.
'Cause we're outdoing each other.
You know, some movies I like colorized, but there's some that you're right should be left alone, like Citizen Kane. I think Citizen Kane should, just should be that black and white because that's what gives it that aura of mystery and oppressiveness.
There was some movie in its day, but as you all know, Orson Welles' claim to fame was not his acting in the movies on the radio when he said they were
That's right.
invading the earth
That's
in
right.
38.
That's right.
And
that,
you know, they still play that on the radio from time to time on Halloween?
yeah, they do, especially around Halloween. Yeah, that was a great one. That scared everybody.
The next day in New York, there was complete panic in New York. The next day after that broadcast, complete panic and silence.
Because people believed
It
it.
was like a moratorium.
Yeah, they thought it was really happening. Live from Cell Block C, caller, go ahead.
Hi. Tiny Tim, what prompted you to come to Des Moines?
Well, frankly, as I said, Mr. Plim, my manager, Mr. DeBonis, Mr. Dixon, Mr. Lister, the other managers, they had some business here for me. They wanted me here. They took care of everything. And here I am. I can't complain yet.
Well, that's
and we're glad
wonderful.
he's here.
Thank
We're happy happy to have you in Des Moines. And will you be doing some more stand-up comics in some of the restaurants or whatever?
Well, while this voice lasts, I mostly sing. I can't tell jokes. If they want to laugh, it's good with me too. But sure, you know, whenever they hire me, I'll gladly go there. But right now, what's more important, you know, when people say to me, you know, from out of town, how can you live in Des Moines? What are you doing in Des Moines, Iowa? This is a great state. There's no
Yes, it is.
There's
Thank you,
hardly
Tiny.
any problems.
Thanks.
There's hardly any problems. People are very honest here. It's a God-fearing state. And basically, you know, it's a relaxation from the hustle and bustle of the bigger cities where there's so much tension because of the problems in the world, more so than in a little town.
Thank you for the nice compliment for Iowa.
It's the truth.
I tell you, the Midwestern people are really terrific.
So,
And we're glad to have you here, Tiny.
it's a pleasure being here, Miss
You
Cindy.
bet. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for your call, caller. Tiny, did you live in New York all your life?
Most of the life. I remember New York when New York was really great in the 30s and in the 40s, in the days of movies and radio. Before television came in 47, New York had its problems, but it was unbelievable.
And it's not so good now?
Well, no, it's not. There's unfortunate homeless in the streets. I mean, it's garbage in the streets everywhere. You know, discipline and love is needed. You've got to have love, yes, but discipline has to go with it, as Bishop Sheen says. Until there's discipline, love doesn't do it alone. Until there's love, discipline doesn't do it alone. They both must combine.
And those are words to live by.
And there's no discipline in New York. Everyone's afraid of each other.
Yeah, that's too bad, too.
Same with the world. Everyone's afraid.
Yeah.
Tiny, we're going to go to another clip of Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. And I kind of forget what this one's about, but hey, we'll look at it and see. I think it's kind of in the middle. I think it might be that clip where Jimmy Stewart is actually in Congress and he's giving his, that was a great clip. Caller, go ahead, please.
Tiny, what do you think about smoking in old movies?
Smoking in old movies?
Yeah.
Just a second, if I do this. Oh, sly cigarette, oh, fine cigarette, why did you teach me to love you so? When you know that I shouldn't, you know, no, no. Oh, fine cigarette, oh, sly cigarette, why did you teach me to love you so? When you know I mustn't. Oh, I'm going to tell you, that song... That song was sung by S.H. Dudley in the 1898 period of time on the cylinder, when at that time women loved to smoke. They considered it their favorite sport. And so in movies, I never gave any thought to smoking. I like the smell of tobacco, even though I don't smoke. I think it's the most silliest thing in the world. Sure, people can die of cancer, they can get their lungs thing, but they enjoy the cigarette. I mean, you can die from cholesterol. You can die from breathing the air. You can die from, you know, chewing a stone in a hamburger. You know, so I think the silliest thing I ever heard was the ban on cigarettes and the way it's happening in the world today.
Well, thank you.
My pleasure.
Thanks for your...
I just wanted to tell Bogey to remember to bring his own cigarettes tonight.
Thanks for calling, caller. Well, Tiny, we're going to wrap it up. This last clip is going to be kind of a patriotic thing with Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, and then we're going to go right into Tiny Tim's patriotic song. But Tiny, I want to thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you from the bottom
pleasure
of our
having
hearts.
you here.
It's been an honor to have you with us tonight.
Wow.
Isn't he wonderful?
Miss Leslie, Miss Mo, thank you so much. Thank you, audience.
Thank you.
And we wish you all the luck in the world with your 25-year reunion of the original Laugh-In cast. That's going to be taped in Hollywood in mid-January.
It's going to be shown on February 7th, which ironically was my father's birthday and my mother's birthday. That's why I'm going out to shoot it on January 15th. Also on that day, Henry Burr, who was the greatest singer in this country from Canada from 1904 to 1919, sang this song, Last Night Was the End of the World, in 1913. And he was also born on that birthday, January 15th.
Wow.
It's an important date.
When they showed that in the Laughing I'd Go to Hollywood Day.
That'll be great. I can't wait to see that. We're going to we're going to just wrap it up right now.
Yeah,
And
we're
an
gonna close
audience,
and-
viewing audience, thanks for all your calls. They were
Yeah.
wonderful. And remember, live from Cell Block C, Friday nights at 7 p.m. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Hey, Mo, oh, Les here. Hey, what's that up in the sky? Hey, it's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's Santa Claus. Da-da-da-da. Hey, listen up, you guys. We's gonna tunnel out of here, and the next time we see you, it's gonna be January 15th. We're gonna dig our way up there to Graceland, so we gotta stock up on some Twinkies, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we're going to bring back Elvis, and he's going to be on our show live January 15th at 7 p.m. It's going to be another call-in, so don't miss it. Oh, and, ooh, who's that coming?
Throw her a Twinkie. It's Hatchet Face, Helen. Happy Hanukkah and Merry Christmas.